think he's telling the truth. And that's what I'm saying is the most cunning of them all is Kim Kardashian when it comes to
shot. Posting video of celebrities at Diddy's 50th birthday party. The Kardashians, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye, Kevin Hart, every A-lister was there.
Kim Kardashian is a prostitute. Her mother is a pimp. Worse than a prostitute, Kim Kardashian is a corpse.
I have come to the conclusion that I'm actually not mad that Kris pimped her kids out.
I went back in time and looked at the Kardashians' lineage, and I think you will believe what I found. Because if I told you they had an ancestor who was a prolific con artist, I think you'd believe.
You can't think of one without thinking of the others. So what is the psych?
Kourtney Kardashian was right all along.
It's who she is to her core, because she's so intolerable. It's almost like a green.
Recent allegations, however, have cast a dark shadow over their empire, suggesting that their success may not be as legitimate as it appears. At the heart of the controversy is the accusation that the Kardashians-Jenners have been involved in money laundering schemes.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Huh? Yes. Look at you.
Ray J claims that he's working with feds to build a RICO case against Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner. While he hasn't elaborated on the details, he has claimed, quote, "The federal RICO case I'm about to drop on Kris and Kim is about to be crazy. I'm talking about, I'm on the news every day." He also later said, quote, "It's worse than Diddy." In May, on our TMZ Presents United States versus Sean Combs Inside the Diddy trial, Ray J said this.
If you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it.
So far, no word from Kim, Kris, or the feds.
Jay woke up today and said he's not just a singer, he sings for the feds too, because apparently he's claiming he's helping to build a RICO case against Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner. Did he have some affiliation allegedly with them? Ray J don't have good sense, because if he did, he would stop trying to make headlines gaslighting people, allegedly, okay? So according to Ray J, he's not just spilling tea, he's bringing receipts to the investigators. He's saying he's working directly with the feds, and he's pointing fingers at Kim and Kris Kardashian, okay? Well, Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner. If that's even half true, we're talking federal charges, not reality TV drama. And look, I'm not saying there's no truth to it, because there probably is. But you're talking too fast. Imagine the man who gave us one wish is now alleging he's helping prosecutors build a case of a lifetime. If that ends up on the court dockets, that's bigger than Keeping Up with the Kardashians spinoff, okay? And let's be real. If Ray J really has proof, Kris Jenner's crisis PR team better be in overdrive. You can meme your way out of some scandals, but you can't spin one on a RICO charge, okay?
Welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. So I'm actually on vacation, but I have to bring this news to you guys. So apparently there's a blind item that is alleging that Ray J is working with the feds to take the Kardashians down. Now, I know for a fact that, first of all, this is all alleged, right? But it's basically stating that the Kardashians are worse than Diddy. Now, I have to say, first of all, I was under the impression that when you are working with the feds on a case, I'm pretty sure the feds probably tell you that you cannot talk about this because they want to, you know, just débarquer without you knowing, right? Just show up at your house without you knowing. But also, the feds not going to do anything unless they have, like, concrete proof. But I have to say that, look, all this money that the Kardashians are making and all their failed businesses, I have to say there's some way or another of how they're getting their money. And they're always around a bunch of different celebrities, a bunch of different young kids, young girls.
This is my second page. Make sure you follow. But Ray J is saying that he's working with the feds to build a RICO case against Kim Kardashian and her mama. Now, as much as this would warm my little heart, as much as I would be entertained by this, it's so hard to take this seriously because it's coming from Ray J. But let's see what he had to say.
This federal RICO though on KK and Kris. Ooh, the federal RICO I'm about to drop on Kris and Kim is about to be crazy.
I'm talking about, I'm on the news every day like, yeah. Meaning like I'm going to say a lot of shit.
Got a little bounce, you know, you walking, what should it be?
If anybody know Kim and cool with Kim, they need to tell her now. The rain is coming. The feds is coming.
Hey, right.
The feds is coming. It's nothing I can do about it. It's worse than Diddy. It's worse than Diddy.
Oh, and the other thing that I failed to mention that makes it really hard to take this seriously is that he's talking to Chrisean Rock. He's telling this to Chrisean Rock, who, by the way, had no idea what was going on at first. She was not with us on Earth at the beginning of what he was saying. And also, a RICO charge for what? I'm trying to figure out what they got going on. Because it can't be the tape. That don't seem like a RICO charge to me.
Do you have thoughts about the Kim Kardashian ruined my life signs guy? You were texting about that.
Yes, I think he's telling the truth. And that's what I'm saying is the most cunning of them all is Kim Kardashian when it comes to marketing. They have an entire machine behind them. I have experienced the machine firsthand when they were trying to curate the story that I was like using Kanye for money, even though I've never taken a single dollar from him. Kris Jenner has a ton of power in Hollywood. Ray J famously told me that when he was trying to get a lawyer against them for this like 10-year lie about the sex tape, that he couldn't even find a lawyer. All of the best lawyers are in her pocket. Like she's basically Hollywood mafia.
She's a retainer and everybody.
She's basically Hollywood mafia. So if someone calls to sue them, she gets the call first because she's spoken to every lawyer. I don't know if that's true. That's allegedly from Ray J. But whenever I see a story and it seems like they outmarketed someone, I believe it because that is what they are.
Kris Jenner hosted my baby showers. The whole family was amazing to me. I ended up marrying someone who was someone when I married them. And then the day after just became somebody different. So I rarely saw Kris after that. It was the isolation, the alienation, not to see the friends as much anymore. I remember one episode when I had Ruby, they thought it would be really cute to have Chloe babysit Ruby. So I'm like, yeah, that'd be so funny. He was like adamant, absolutely not, no. My assistant at the time, Liz, Heather McDonald's best friend growing up. During the time that Liz was with me, I introduced her to Kris, and Liz is efficient. And so one day Liz came to me and that was it. She's like, she went to work with Kris. And I mean, I can't buy Liz a fucking Birkin bag for Christmas. You know what I mean? There's no competition. But it's a cutthroat world out there. I mean, Liz helped get that lip kit for Kylie. The people I introduced Kris to now won't give me her phone number. That's how gross fucking Hollywood is. Oh, like, oh, I want to talk to Kris now because I've been divorced for 10 years. I'd love to talk to Kris and like have dinner with her and tell her what. And they're like, and I'm like, can I get Kris's email? And I'm not kidding you. Like, they won't get back to me, or I'm like, holy balls. And then I'd say, did I do something wrong?
I now hold the opinion that Kim Kardashian is a prostitute, and I'm not going to edit this opinion. Kim Kardashian is a prostitute. Her mother is a pimp. Worse than a prostitute, Kim Kardashian is a corpse. She's a body without a soul. She is so emblematic of the society that we live in today, that if you are willing to degrade yourself, if you are willing to denigrate yourself, then our society, our American society will give you more, right? How much are you willing to show us of your body? How much are you willing to give us of your daughter's body? That is the price of fame, and she did it.
The feds are looking for Kris Jenner. When the feds raided Puffy's houses, they found tapes with evidence of Kris Jenner being part of some criminal activity.
Kim unfollowed Diddy 24 hours before that happened. She and Kris has close ties, but the FBI and law enforcement, they know something was gonna happen. They know everything.
What's wrong? Don't scare me, please. What's going on? Like, I can't.
Zionist media handlers surrounding her, all in and out her Hulu TV show, all in and out her family, all in and out the house that I created for my family. But she's not here just to have content up on adult channels. She's not here just to have that last interview magazine.
Kim is a friend of mine. We always talk about everything that's going on in the system, and
I think she's doing a lot of good work. She's doing a lot of work more than other people who have platforms who might even came from that situation. So
apparently, there is allegedly a secret video footage that has released of Kris Jenner in Diddy's house. To choose to sign with somebody as truly evil as Lou Taylor, unless she didn't have a choice.
I think that Kim Kardashian caught that moment of femininity and sexuality. She is the it girl of what we're talking about. She is the it girl. She is the moment. She was talking about sex and people, that's what their show, that's how it became popular. Who they were dating, you know, who they were sleeping with. She's crying about her sex tape. She's crying about this. Like, she brought forth the sex culture. So she is the icon for the moment that we're talking about. But I think we are actually moving away from it. The handwriting of Kim Kardashian, the 3, I'm holding it up right now, the 3 sex tapes that her and her mother and him decided to choose between. Her mother was so involved. Did you hear him? She was so involved in the details. She wanted to pick which sex tape to release. And then she went to her friends and she sat down with the honchos and she sold her daughter's body for free.
This girl. So if you have not heard, Kim Kardashian allegedly had some videotapes and audio tapes that was actually recovered in the raid at P. Diddy's home.
He sent out a warning shot, posting video of celebrities at Diddy's 50th birthday party. The Kardashians, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye, Kevin Hart, every A-lister was there.
Well, it puts him in a very difficult position because if he is ever charged, whether it's on the state side or federally, if he ever testifies, there's going to be limitations on whether he can actually do so without being confronted with things like this. So there's a lot of collateral impact of this video, even if those particular acts are not being charged in a federal case.
Now, this is a bit of a Stranger Things type episode. As you guys know, P. Diddy's house just got raided. He's allegedly flown away. Well,
I have come to the conclusion that I'm actually not mad that Kris pimped her kids out. She used her kids to make herself successful and live a lavish life. She herself, she had a little bit of money. They had a little bit of money. I mean, they weren't like poor. They weren't like under the poverty line or anything. But like, she wanted wealth. She wanted riches. And she used her offsprings to get that. Why else do people have kids if it's not to like, for their kids to be better than them and to improve their situation or to have a better life than them? And that's what she did. Look at her now in $1 million mansion, taking trips anytime she wants. Cars, luxury items, just living an easy breezy life.
So, it looks like there's trouble in the Kardashian-Jenner clan because Kourtney Kardashian is spiraling and she's airing all her family's business out for the world to see. Kourtney recently exposed Kris for pimping out her younger sister Kylie to creepy rappers and older men in the industry. It's kind of an open secret that Kris Jenner strongly encourages her kids to do wild things for clout and views. She did it with Kim, Khloe, and Kourtney, and it looks like she has been doing it with Kylie and Kendall too. However, Kourtney has had enough of this, and she recently put her mother on blast for taking advantage of them to satisfy her own thirst for fame and money. Apparently, Kylie is starting to experience some major trauma from all the men taking advantage of her because Kris gave them the green light, and Kourtney is not here for it. See, rumors of Kris Jenner pimping out her kids are not exactly new. There's a reason why she got the nickname Mama Pimp. Her whole Kardashian brand was built upon Kim's leaked adult tape with Ray J that broke the internet when it went public. Now, Kris tried to play it like it was an accidental leak, but word on the street is that there was nothing accidental about it. Allegedly, it was a contract between Ray J and Kim, and Kris oversaw the whole process like a proper manager. Ray J even revealed that he and Kim had multiple takes while making the video, and Kris watched everything to determine which one had the best angles to be leaked.
Manipulate us to do the shit. I'll take full responsibilities for the act. I was lit. We made a lot of money. I get it. But we together, like, y'all really think that y'all was gonna, I don't know. You know what? Here's how I look at it. Your lawyer, Marty, right? Every time somebody talks shit about y'all of this magnitude, y'all always cease and desist. Y'all shut that shit down. Y'all tried to make Blac Chyna look crazy, right? Because you felt like you had the facts. Crickets. Kim ain't responded to this at all because she know what she did. And Kris, you know you ran the play. I'm going crazy tonight as far as like my energy because I'm so like disgusted at sitting back and waiting for what? Like waiting for what? I can't see the comments. I don't give a f what nobody say. All I care about is my daughter and my son growing up. Like, damn, Pops is 100. Like, Pops would never put anything out without anybody's consent.
Kim Kardashian.
100% narc. 100%, 1,000%. She is the worst.
out of the siblings. I think they all are, but I think she's the ringleader.
Oh,
No, Kris is the ringleader.
Yes.
She's Kris's mini-me because she's the one that did the sex tape and it opened the door for all of them to be eaten.
Right.
But Kris trained her. Kris is the real pimp in that family. Kim Kardashian is the epitome of a female narcissist. Very promiscuous, arrogant. Everything's about her. Yeah. But then she goes and marries Kanye. And you see how that turned out. Right. That's what two narcissists are. She would take him back right now. If he said, take me back, Kim, she would.
Kim Kardashian is now the new brand ambassador for Balenciaga. Oh, wow. Why are celebrities now acting as if Balenciaga did not have actual children as sex slaves, dressed up as sex slaves on their advertisements, on their websites, promoting a new campaign of clothing just less than, 7-8 months ago, last year? Now we're moving past it, and now we have her as the ambassador, and they're rolling this out, acting as if nothing happened, everyone's ignoring it, and celebrities are eating it up. Right at the top of Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week is coming, and the hypocrisy continues within these celebrities. How can this change? What the is going on? You can dress high-end, God bless you, but why Balenciaga? They have the slave kids. Wear something else. Wear some fucking Chanel with Kendrick Lamar in them. Like, wear other things. Why emphasizing the Balenciaga? Yeah. It's like, why?
They gonna love me for my ambition.
Kourtney Kardashian was right all along.
It's who she is to her core, because she's so intolerable. It's almost like a greediness.
You're just a witch. You're a very distraught, evil human being. I don't agree with who you are as a human being.
No, Kim, enough time has not gone by, and we will not forget what Balenciaga did and who they really are. But I guess you thought, oh, I'll just post this. It's been like a year. Oh, but what makes this post even worse, you, including your very young child, in a post about Balenciaga. And we all know what they stand for. This photo here to me shows how Kim has sold her soul to Hollywood. It is not only disgusting, but it is so sad. And I'm so glad to see that so many people are on the same page when it comes to this post. And the snakes are snaking in these comments. We even got double-headed snakes in here. Big up for speaking on the Armenian genocide, but when another country is currently being genocided, you stay silent and now support Balenciaga. People look up to you, Kim. What about the kids? LOL, this is like condemning the Holocaust and then going for lunch with Hitler. When it took her a number of days to make a statement, we should have known then what her stance was.
But because I didn't say, fuck you, Balenciaga, that's it, people got mad at that.
And some more snakes. My favorite comment, from civil rights advocacy to this, disappointing. And let's end with this. The more you support them, the less I support you.
Everyone was like, why aren't you speaking out? Why aren't you speaking out? And I'm like, wait, I'm not in this campaign. I don't know what's happening. Let me take a minute to research this.
Honestly, the reason why she didn't condemn child pornography and pedophilia as a campaign artistic pitch is because she doesn't condone cancel culture. Hey, so let me say something about cancel culture. I'm really comfortable with canceling pedophiles. I'm so comfortable with that. Anybody who wants to even take one step in that direction, cancel them. I'm comfortable. Actually, I would like to use a lot stronger language of what I think should happen to pedophiles, but it probably wouldn't be allowed to stay on YouTube. But this is what it is. She's kind of slow walking this and making you think, oh, you're the one that's crazy, because why should we just cancel people that support child pornography? That's the marketing trick that she's trying to play, to make you think that you're the crazy person, right? So recently, Kim Kardashian, obviously, she was never going to cancel Balenciaga. She was always going to be the ambassador for their campaign. She just wanted to wait a little bit. Well, she waited 1 year, credit to her. And now she is full out there bragging that she is their new ambassador. And she's laying on top of the bags in her closet. And of course, people are going, are you kidding me? Like, is this not one category where Kim could have some backbone, where she could have some morals? And to people that are asking me my take on this, why are you surprised? Listen, one of the things on my show that I want to always reserve the right for is to be able to call water wet, right? To use an expression, like I always want to be able to call things what they actually are. And sometimes people say, that's really mean. It's not nice, Candace, when you refer to Kim Kardashian as a prostitute, when all of the evidence supports that exact claim. I call her a prostitute not to be mean, but because words have meaning and we should use them adequately. We should use them in their correct terms, right? A prostitute is somebody who sells their body for profit. Ray J, her ex-boyfriend, announced, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, that yes, him and Kim, his girlfriend at the time, and Kris Jenner sat down and plotted the sex tape. They created pornography. They had sex on camera because it was their plan to make Kim Kardashian famous, okay? Do you know how bottom rung you have to be to sell your own body, pretend that you're shocked when the tape releases, and to do a deal with a pornographer, all while saying that you are a victim simply because you want to be famous? Just to be clear, if Kim wasn't famous, she would just be rich. That was enough for her. She came from a very wealthy family, right? She grew up very well, but Kim said, I desperately want to be famous, and so she did a deal with the devil.
It seems like a lot of people don't know what happened with Balenciaga back in 2023, so I'm gonna break it down for you so that you can understand why I would never wear this brand, let alone let my children wear this brand, because what they did is actually horrific. So in 2023, Balenciaga released 2 collections. The first was called the Gift Collection, which featured a bunch of pictures from their campaign of children holding plush teddy bears wearing BDSM outfits. Let me show you a close-up. Here's the first one, and there's another one. Here's another one, and when you put this collection along with what happened in the second collection together, you will see why this is disgusting. I mean, not that a bear dressed in BDSM for a child isn't already disgusting, but let me show you the second collection. The second collection was called the Garde Robe Collection, and the campaign centered around office images. So like corporate baddie style, incorporate Balenciaga into your corporate life type of vibe, which would have been fine. But when you zoom into the images, you see why it's so horrific. Let me show you. So when you zoom into this image of the bag, all of the papers scattered behind it show the decision on a court case called U.S. versus Williams, which was a court case about child. They could have printed literally anything on these pages. They could have gotten a random type font from the internet and displayed it across the desk. But instead they chose that case. There's another image, which then makes this one, again, even worse. Let me show you. So at a glance, this photo looks like, again, like I said, a corporate baddie with her Balenciaga bag, feet up in her office, doing some work. But when you zoom in, you see this. Stacked in the background is a coffee table book featuring works from the artist Michael Bormans. I think that's how you say it. I don't really care because he's disgusting. You guys will have to go look up his artwork online because I cannot put it on here, but it features images of children, very disturbing images of children, all types of images. Children being bloody, disgusting, horrific, scary images that he paints, and this is the coffee table book that features all of those images. Balenciaga claimed that all of these props were provided by a third party, so they tried to take no blame, but I'm sorry. If you are Demna and you are the creative director of a brand, you file through and you see every single item that is going in a campaign shoot and you approve it. And there's no way that these items just unintentionally, by coincidence, all happened to end up in the same campaigns. It's bizarre, and it's a level of subliminal messaging that some people might think is conspiracy or crazy or whatever, but I truly believe that this was all planted, and I think it's horrific. And that is why I sold all of my Balenciaga and why I would never let my kids wear it, nor would I ever rep that brand.
This is disgusting. Kim Kardashian today proudly announced that she's the new face of Balenciaga. That's right, Kim Kardashian is now the brand ambassador of the company that just 2 years ago in 2022 put out ads of little kids holding teddy bears wearing bondage. But she's proud of the partnership. She released a statement saying that this historic fashion house embraces modernity, craftsmanship, and takes an innovative approach to design. She also goes on to say that it's a long-lasting relationship built on mutual trust and commitment to doing what is right. So I guess modern and innovative fashion means dressing like the devil. And the satanic theme goes even further. Balenciaga in Latin translates to the satanic credo of do what thou wilt, or in other words, do what you want, not do what is right. When you have so much money and so much power and so much influence, you can choose what brands you align with. So I guess we now know where Kim Kardashian stands. But as always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
I was looking forward to her saying that she stands with the children that have been sexually trafficked over borders, to children that are victims of sex crimes, to children that have been victimized by pedophiles. And I waited because I knew that she would do the right thing. And then what happened was Thanksgiving passed and I went on Instagram and she still hadn't made a statement. And I thought, that's very weird. This is an easy layup, Kim Kardashian, a very easy layup that I'm giving to you. Condemn child pornography. Okay, Balenciaga didn't come out and deny what happened. They said they were sorry. Oh, we're sorry. We should have never published this. Okay, they've admitted that this has happened. It's very easy to come out as a person that is always dripped in their clothing, as a person that sits beside them at fashion shows, as a person that has a financial deal with Balenciaga, as one of the faces of Balenciaga, to say that you had no idea this was going to be brought to the forefront, that you strongly condemn it, and then to make the obvious choice, which is to say that you will no longer work with them, because everybody has to have a red line, and that red line should always be child pedophilia, child pornography, anything that harms children, especially when you are a mother, okay? So Kim did issue a statement after I said, wow, I can't believe we have made it all the way to Sunday. It has been 6 days, and she still has not made a statement. Of course, this went viral, and then within an hour, she did issue a statement. Here's what she wrote. Quote, I have been quiet for the past few days, not because I haven't been disgusted and outraged by the recent Balenciaga campaigns, but because I wanted an opportunity to speak to their team to understand for myself how this could have happened. Let's pause right there, okay? That is stupid. That is stupid, Kim. You want us to believe that you took 6 days because you were just trying to understand what happened. Something that we all understood within minutes of seeing the photo and discussing it and disseminating it widely. We understood what happened. Children were taken advantage of in a shoot by pedophiles and sickos and weirdos, okay? Children were being used as props for somebody that has a bizarre sexual fetish for children. But no, you needed 6 days to understand what happened, as if you had to send an email to an info box at Balenciaga, as if you're not Kim Kardashian, who can pick up the phone, call the CEO, call the creative director, call the stylist directly and say, what the hell is this? And get an immediate answer. But no, you think we're all so stupid that we're going to believe that it took you some time to understand what happened. You needed time to process. No, what you actually did, Kim, was you probably talked to your mom and said, oh my God, scandal. Your mom said, it's okay, Kim. It's Thanksgiving. Give it a couple of days and everyone's going to forget about it. And your strategy was to be quiet and hope that the scandal blew over. Hope that everyone would get lost in turkey and be too tired to talk about it. But what actually happened was that hashtag Balenciaga groomers kept trending all weekend. And then your name started trending. And you realize about the third time that I hit you on Instagram and millions of people were in your comments saying, comment on Balenciaga, that it wasn't going to go away. So you then drummed up this statement. Let's keep going and see what you said. She goes on to say, as a mother of 4, I have been shaken by the disturbing images. The safety of children must be held with the highest regard, and any attempts to normalize child abuse of any kind should have no place in our society, period. Okay, I agree with that. Wonderful. That is no place in our society. It needs to be condemned. We're not going to normalize it. Give it to me, Kim. Tell us you're done with Balenciaga. No, that's not what she does. She's not going to do that. Here's what she says next. She says, I appreciate Balenciaga's removal of the campaigns and apology. In speaking with them, I believe they understand the seriousness of the issue and will take the necessary measures for this to never happen again. As for my future with Balenciaga, I am currently reevaluating my relationship with the brand, basing it off of their willingness to accept accountability for something that should have never happened to begin with, and the actions that I'm expecting to see them take to protect children. That's it. So what she did there was she said, as a mother, so that we would all go, oh, yes, yes, I'm a mom. I feel you. I love you, Kim. What else? And then she said, I'm still going to wear Balenciaga. I'm still going to wear Balenciaga because they apologized and they took down the images. And now I'm telling you guys that you need to forget about it because they took accountability for their child pornography. So guys, forget about the pedophiles, because if a pedophile gets caught or a pornographer gets caught and they apologize, like, they just come out and say, I'm sorry that you caught me with kiddie porn, then it's incumbent upon you guys to forget about it and move on. Oh, and by the way, I'm reevaluating my relationship. I mean, how many times is a celebrity PR person going to keep using that word? What it really means when they say, I'm reevaluating, it means I'm giving it some time for you guys to forget about it and waiting for the next scandal to come about so that you guys will leave me alone and I can continue to drip myself in Balenciaga and get free money and get bags and get money and get cash and get sponsorships with them and get invited to their shows because I'm Kim Kardashian and I don't have a soul. I literally stop pretending that Kim Kardashian has a soul. I'm done with this. I'm done with the idea that every time she cries.
The Kardashian-Jenner empire built on lies and deception. The Kardashian-Jenner clan, a family synonymous with wealth, fame, and influence, has been shrouded in controversy for years. Recent allegations, however, have cast a dark shadow over their empire, suggesting that their success may not be as legitimate as it appears. At the heart of the controversy is the accusation that the Kardashians-Jenners have been involved in money laundering schemes. These allegations have gained traction online, with many pointing to the family's rapid rise to fame and fortune as evidence of potential wrongdoing. One of the most damning pieces of evidence is the close relationship between the Kardashians and Lou Taylor, a former manager of Britney Spears. During Britney's conservatorship, Lou Taylor played a significant role in managing her finances. Some believe that the Kardashians may have benefited from this arrangement, potentially profiting from Britney's wealth. Furthermore, the Kardashians' lavish lifestyle and frequent property purchases have raised eyebrows. Critics argue that their exorbitant spending habits may be fueled by illicit activities. The family's penchant for building extravagant mansions and indulging in expensive luxuries has led to speculation about the true source of their wealth. Kanye West, the ex-husband of Kim Kardashian, has also hinted at the family's questionable financial practices. In a series of cryptic social media posts, he accused the Kardashians of controlling his life and finances. Some fans have interpreted these posts as a veiled warning about the family's alleged involvement in illegal activities. While these allegations remain unproven, they have sparked a heated debate online. Many fans and critics are calling for a thorough investigation into the Kardashian-Jenner empire. As more information comes to light, it's clear that the truth behind the family's wealth may be far more complex than it appears. It's important to note that these allegations are just that, allegations. No concrete evidence has been presented to
top it all off, recently leaked documents from Kim and Kanye's divorce show that Lou Taylor was listed as the trustee of Kim's trust fund, Noel Roberts Trust. But how exactly does this prove the Kardashians profited from Britney's conservatorship? Well, according to a viral Twitter thread created by Britney Hiatus, the Kard-Jenners may have used their connections to Lou Taylor to pocket $600 million of Britney's money. Apparently, it all started back in 2018 when Britney's younger sister, Jamie Lynn, was briefly appointed as as a trustee of Britney's largest trust. Jamie Lynn reportedly filed documents to move Britney's money into a separately managed trust account with a company called Stonebridge. And according to @Britney Hiatus, the vice president of Stonebridge is none other than Lou Taylor. The account also alleged that Stonebridge assets went up and then down by $600 million right around the time that Jamie Lynn filed her petition. And this is because Lou Taylor allegedly transferred $600 million Jamie Lynn had invested into a holding company by the same name registered in Panama, one of the best known tax havens in the world. And this is where the alleged Kardashian connection starts creeping in. In January 2022, Forbes published an article titled "Kim Kardashian is $600 million richer after shapewear brand Skims hits $3.2 billion valuation." And yes, this could be a coincidence, but as @Britney Hiatus pointed out, if you're Lou Taylor and you need to hide $600 million, would Kim's estate be a logical place to try and hide it? However, that's not the only coincidence. Shortly before Kim's wealth increased by $600 million, news also broke that Kylie Jenner sold half of her company, Kylie Cosmetics, for, you guessed it, $600 million.
Kylie, $600 million for the business. What was your reaction when you heard that number?
Well, for half of the business, so it's worth double that.
Yeah.
So, just to fact check you guys.
Something definitely feels fishy here, and as Britney's fan account pointed out, if these allegations are true, then what Lou Taylor and the Kardashians did with Britney's money would be a classic case of money laundering. And to top all of this, rumors are now flying around that another way the Kar-Jenners launder money is by constantly building new properties. After reports emerged that Kylie is currently building yet another house worth $15 million right next to Kris Jenner's mansion, one fan on Reddit proposed an interesting theory speculating that the constant construction is a money laundering scheme. Now, when it comes to Kanye West, it's unclear to what extent he was aware of the Kardashians' rumored financial schemes. However, Kanye did previously throw shade at Kylie after Forbes exposed her for faking her billionaire status. Back in 2020, a previously unreleased music video for Kanye and Tyga's song Feel Me leaked online featuring a bizarre scene of Kim seemingly giving birth to Kylie. The director of the music video, Eli Lynette, later told E! that this scene was a message about Kylie's rise to fame and wealth, the metaphorical meaning being that there would be no Kylie without Kim, Lynette said. But that's not all. After Kim and Kanye's divorce was finalized, reports surfaced that the former spouses didn't have to separate their assets because Kanye made sure to keep his money separate from Kim. In fact, back in 2016, long before the divorce was even on the horizon, a source close to Kanye told People that Kim and Kanye kept their accounts basically separate, also adding that Kanye always talks about my money and her money. Fans are now saying Kanye was probably one step ahead and knew the Kardashians were capable of stripping him of his wealth. Man, I cannot even begin to express how glad I am Kanye got out of that family, one fan commented. I hope he realizes this might be one of the best things to happen to him because those people are so wicked and will do anything to anyone just to advance themselves. The fan also said that it looks like we're finally witnessing the Kardashians' well-deserved downfall and added they're gonna get everything they deserve for treating people like literal dirt. And then another person responded saying, I'm so glad Ye got out before that wicked witch could get her claws on his empire. They tried to Britney Spears him, but it didn't work. Ye was too smart for them. It seems like so much of their underhandedness is coming out more and more. Karma is coming for them. But let's hear your thoughts on this. How shady are the Kardashians' business schemes really? Do you think that
I went back in time and looked at the Kardashians' lineage, and I think you will believe what I found. Because if I told you they had an ancestor who was a prolific con artist, I think you'd believe it. And what if I told you that that same ancestor was terrible to employees? I think you'd believe it. And what if I told you that very same ancestor built an empire on being a fraud? Ooh, I fear you'd believe it. Okay, this is the last one. But if I told you that same ancestor designed what they called a murder castle, I think you'd believe it, right? Now, this is all for entertainment purposes, but I went back and looked at one of those Lineage websites, and they connected H.H. Holmes, the first American serial killer, to the Kardashians. And honestly, it kind of made sense. Dr. H.H. Holmes' story takes place in the Gilded Age of America. This is where being a millionaire actually meant you were a celebrity. This is, of course, before radio, TV, movies. So millionaires were the celebrities of this time. And H.H. Holmes wanted to be one of those millionaires at any cost. H.H. Holmes was a notorious fraudster who thought his place was at the top. This is the beginning of oligarchies forming in America, and the biggest celebrity around is Andrew Carnegie, who's just a rich businessman. And H.H. Holmes was committing fraud left and right. He rolled into town and he started immediately digging up corpses and selling them to medical facilities. And because he was a pharmacist, I mean, this is the kind of pharmacy where they used to put, you know, Blocaine in the Coca-Cola. So this was a long time ago, and he was a different kind of pharmacist. He was out grave robbing so he could sell the cadavers to medical facilities for them to run experiments on. Very not on the up and up whatsoever. And he ended up committing insurance fraud and using those bodies to do that. But for a while, he was running a hell of a racket because he built what was called a murder castle. So Chicago is really the first concept of a city that has popped up in America because of the World's Fair. There are people coming from all over to be around the World's Fair for jobs or opportunities. And H.H. Holmes sees this. He, of course, is there for the same reason. And he walks into town. He's walking around. He sees a pharmacy that he just wants to own it. He goes in and talks to the owner. It's a little old lady, and recently her husband had passed away. He charms her because everyone tells these stories about how charming H.H. Holmes was, and he charmed his way out of getting caught so many times. And he talks to this woman and says, "I'll be like your long lost son. Sell your pharmacy to me and I'll take care of it." And so she did. And then the woman disappeared. No one knew where she went. And H.H. starts telling this story about how she left and moved to California. No one heard or saw of her again. Most people think that she became a victim of H.H. Holmes, maybe his first in Chicago. Across the street from the pharmacy is an empty lot, and in that empty lot is where H.H. Holmes would build his future murder castle, which is this building here. Now, H.H. Holmes had a lot of plans for his hotel that he was building, and almost none of them involved paying staff or paying for those building materials. He had cons at every angle as he was building this hotel, and he didn't want one person to know all of his plans, like one big blueprint, seeing everything he had planned, because this building was basically like a lethal game of chutes and ladders. He had mostly women staying there. There never seemed to be rooms for men, but there always was a room for a lady. So women would come to town to go to the World's Fair to maybe get a job or meet a husband. They would end up checking into his hotel, and then they would not check out. Now, there are some historians and relatives of H.H. Holmes that insinuated that he could possibly also be Jack the Ripper, but just in the last year, I believe, we got DNA evidence that proved who Jack the Ripper was, and it was not H.H. Holmes. Now, during this time in the Gilded Age, people did just disappear. Sometimes people would get on a boat and go to Europe and you wouldn't hear from them for months at a time, or maybe something else, unfortunately, would happen to them and their family and friends just wouldn't hear from them. And so I think because of this, H.H. Holmes got away with taking the lives of upwards of 200 people is what's speculated. And then he finally got caught, and you know what they got him with? Insurance fraud. After all that, insurance fraud. Now, of course, this is just a genealogy website online, and who knows how accurate it is. And of course, this is all just for entertainment purposes. But it is interesting that out of all of the people in true crime, that it would connect the Kardashian-Jenner family to H.H. Holmes when most of his crimes that he got caught for, at least, were around conning people, grifting people, and he was a pharmacist, so he was trying to sell like wellness tonics and things like that. I just think that it's interesting that that would be the one they're connected to, allegedly. Kris Jenner's lineage is pretty long, so I am skipping around a little bit, but in the next section of The Devil Works Hard, Kris Jenner Works Harder, we're going to talk a little bit more about Kris's more immediate family, so stay tuned.
These signs have been seen all over LA lately. Kim Kardashian ruined my life.com. I went on the website so you didn't have to. This is the man behind the sign, David Libenson, the original creator of Kimoji. David met Kim as he worked at a different software and app company called Sensogram.
Kim and Kris had reached out to his company to set up a meeting with them. David said he met with Kris and Kim at Kris's house in Calabasas. This is like 2013, 2014. Once they finished meeting about Sensogram, David pitched the idea of Kimoji to Kim. Kim and Kris and David all had a verbal agreement that this was an amazing idea and that they were going to look into it with him. David said during this meeting he showed Kim some of the concept art. David said after this meeting, him and his family were on cloud 9. And then a few days later, he gets a call from Kim's team. Weirdly, Kim's team was like, have you sent in the trademark yet? And he's like, no, I literally just talked to Kim, but I'm about to do it. And they were like, no, we'll do it for you. Don't worry about it. This will help with the process because she's an A-list celebrity. We want to make sure it's done correctly. Kim's team went and trademarked Kimoji literally 5 minutes later without David on the trademark. They took his concept art and ran. David has text and paper trail proof that they stole from him. David was like, you're not taking all my hard work. He sued her for $100 million. She countersued him for over $300 million, knowing that he could not pay that. Once David got countersued, he basically backed down because he literally could not pay them back. So not only do Kim and Kris get to keep Kimoji as the business, the lawsuit is now thrown away, but they told David he still has to pay them $400,000 for lawyers, their time, and financial compensation, even though they're all allegedly billionaires. Do you want to know what happened to David? He lost his family, his wife got divorced from him, and he now lives in his car. He works 2 jobs just trying to pay back the $400,000 to Kim and Kris. And they now have his idea, and they made millions and millions of dollars off of it.
They said that they were going to sue us for $5 million each if we didn't hand them the rights to Kimoji and for Kim to be able to do her own comment control project.
She wanted you to hand her over both businesses that you put so much work and money into.
Legally, that's all they needed, they thought. She's done that before.
What?
Mm-hmm. Nobody can talk about it, though, because they're bound by confidentiality agreements.
Kanye's post, so find out.
You can't think of one without thinking of the others. So what is the psychology behind the Kardashians family system? When it used to be Khloe and Kourtney, now we're starting to see Khloe and Kim. But who is the leader, the puppet master of all of this? Kris is going to have a huge role to play in this. But when we look at this from a family systems lens, each different sibling has their own storyline that they're adding into this behavioral and emotional unit that make up separate roles inside of the family. The Kardashians are one of the most famous families that we have in the world right now. And they've always presented themselves like they're very close and tight-knit. But what I find really interesting is they also each could be placed in the same roles that we see inside of a dysfunctional family. These are the main roles you would typically see. So I've done so many videos on Khloe. I'm gonna place her as the enabler, the codependent, the one who is always trying to save and rescue. We see that with her and her relationship with Rob, her and her relationship with Scott, with Tristan and Lamar. They joke a lot about Kim being the favorite child, but I do think she took on that role as the hero, the golden child of the family, which then I think leaves Kourtney as the scapegoat. You do see her having it seems like different standards set for her, people mad at her. And the lost child, I mean, come on, Rob is never anywhere to be found. I forget about him as well. But what you might notice about these dynamics is these are usually the roles that get played in an addict household. These are also the roles that can get played when the main caregiver is a narcissist. But at the very least, these roles get played when the household is both toxic and dysfunctional. There's no way around that. That type of dynamic leads to trauma, which has to have us question, is this family as close and as happy as they seem? What do you guys think? And don't forget to like and follow for more psychological breakdowns.
Kris Jenner, the leader
of the Kardashian cult. Momager of the year, or an abusive, alcoholic cheater who tricked the world into thinking that she was a loving mother.
My kids call me the Momager.
Today I'm deep diving this topic. We're pulling back the curtain of what Kris Jenner has put out there and has made us believe who she is.
I am truly the biggest cheerleader for my family and my kids.
There are plenty of skeletons in her closet. This is not just a case of bad parenting. It is a case of psychological warfare. She didn't just raise a family. She built a brand. And every one of her kids became a product, became a pawn for her own fame, where love was performance-based and loyalty was transactional. Kris was an absent mother. These kids being left alone, crying for their mom on Christmas and her not being there. And there's even the Christmas photo where like Kris isn't in any of these when the kids are super young. What she's showing and the blueprint that she is giving is basically a pattern of prioritizing her own gratification over her duties as a mother again and again, which is kind of a chilling foreshadowing to how she ends up being in her business dealings. And that once again, it is Kris's needs, Kris's own gratification over ever any of the needs of her children. I want to pull up to the diary entry of Kris beating Kim up. What Robert Kardashian alleges in his diary is that she was kicking and beating Kim and saying that she was going to kill her, while Kim, who was 9, was hysterical. Imagine for a second a mother attacking her own child in that way, because what Robert's diaries detail was that Kim took on some of the worst verbal and physical abuse from her mother.
Piece of You're an awful person. I'm an awful person? Yeah, you're an awful person. You can take care of your own stupid talk.
I'm actually surprised that the Kardashians are as well adjusted as they are, but that also comes from our understanding and take on what success is. But you know, the Kardashians, aside from Rob, aren't drug addicts. They haven't seemed to struggle with that. But what they do struggle with is their relationship. I think Kris's parenting and the dysfunction of that really bleeds out into the relationships that they have. Like a 27-day marriage, that's not normal.
I'm married for 72 days. Really? That was normal.
Like I said, the blueprints that we get when we're children really teaches us the level of abuse that we're willing to tolerate. And another thing of what I want to address with Kris is her emotional manipulation with these kids. If you look at clips, sometimes you see like Khloe will try to address some of the trauma of like her whole family calling her fat and how she had to live with that. And Kris Jenner usually gets very like deflective, number one. She'll usually say like, oh, that's not how it happened, which if you have a narcissistic parent, that's like their favorite line to use. Or she will use the guilt trip. Kris is very manipulative. Go back and watch interviews, watch the seasons of the Kardashians and realize how she doesn't take accountability. She'll usually say something like, oh, after all I did for you guys, and start crying. She's either dismissive or awkward about emotional issues, or she just puts on the guilt trip. And I think it was Khloe who said that. She's like, we just don't talk about feelings in our family. Again, no matter what you want to believe about these girls, whether you love them, hate them, they learn this shit from their mother. They learn this from their childhood. And that emotional avoidance is a hallmark of narcissistic parents. Showing empathy or vulnerability does not come easy to them. And you usually see Kris mask this with humor or a martini. Kris also, she drinks a lot. It's worth remembering that she had an alcoholic father, and then also the person who her mother remarried was also an alcoholic. But through all of this, we can also say like all of these, narcissism, alcohol, Kris had to learn some severe coping mechanisms. Kris is also very interesting when we look at her emotions, because she's not this cold, emotionless narcissist that you can sometimes think about. She has emotion. Most notably, I would say the emotions that she has is pride and disappointment. And those are often tied to how her children reflect onto her. For instance, she is very, very loving when they achieve something big, like when Kylie hit billionaire status. Kris beams and she cries tears of joy. And the reason why is because these milestones validate her part as the caring and loving and good mother. But when her kids do something that jeopardize the brand, for example, Kourtney pulling away from filming, Kris's emotional responses then are irritation, guilt-inducing, and passive aggressiveness. In one scene, and there's been multiple times, Kourtney pretty much says like, I need to stop filming for my mental health. And Kris gets pretty cool. If you stop filming, then you're out of the deal. Essentially prioritizing the show's feelings over Kourtney's feelings, which is not the only example we have of Kris doing that. This illustrates, as it does in so many narcissistic parent dynamics, that Kris's support and her love is conditional. She'll comfort and praise you if you do what is benefiting her and the family image. But if you're not, her empathy is going to be at a short supply. Kris is very skilled at both the subtle and not so subtle ways she psychologically maneuvers to keep her kids in line. She can be charming and flattering and indulgent, but we've also seen guilt-inducing and fear-inducing and triangulation. Triangulation is another classic narcissist strategy. And we see her do it, talking to one kid about how the other one doesn't work, which makes the other kid like their sister less, but also then says it. There's all these back and forth between the sisters. She really uses triangulation between Kim and Kourtney.
There was a time period when she was living in Robert Kardashian's house. Bruce Jenner moved in with her to Robert Kardashian's house with her children, and she was still engaging in her affair with Todd Waterman that had originally ended her marriage with Robert Kardashian, all at the same time.
Line item is basically saying that whenever people go after the Kardashians, they always usually end up unaliving, right? And in my opinion, from what we have seen before, anyone who go against them in the courts, they usually always win. But we've made videos about the Kardashians before, and from the research and the videos that I have proven, have shown before, those ladies actually are working with, unseen forces, right? Because, just from, if you know, if you like notice things, you will know what it's for, right? And in my opinion, the Kardashians actually be doing some witchcraft to get there to, yes, they do know the law as well, because they grew up in a law like family, right? Their dad was a lawyer. Kim is also studying law, even though she still is not able to pass the test, but she also is studying from the book of law, so therefore she knows the law. And I think a lot of their stuff, they work with, they work with the knowledge that they have when it comes to law and how to, manage their money. But this is not the first time I have heard things about, the Kardashians laundering money, allegedly, and also with the whole TriStar situation with the Britney Spears and all the money that went missing from Britney Spears, and how Kylie Jenner basically lied and said that she was a billionaire, and then it came out that they forged their taxes in order to show that she was the youngest billionaire. And I have nothing against them, right? But at the end of the day too, we're not blind. We can see that the Kardashians have tried so many businesses, and what they do is like they throw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, right? But none of their business have stick. But these people are like the richest family, and I understand, when family come together and they're all working together and they have each other's back, yes, it's very possible for them to become billionaires and millionaires. But for people who don't have some sort of investment, and also they don't have like businesses that are actually doing good, they have a lot of money. So I would not be surprised if something came out where they're actually running some sort of brothel allegedly, right? This is all in my opinion. Or they're running some sort of scheme that Todd set up to come to you with this bullshit. That's why they always have a bunch of young people around them. And plus, with their show, this could be like a front for the money that's being laundered through like their businesses that never takes off. All of their business that they ever even tried to do never actually, it's like a bunch of failed businesses, but then they're constantly making more money and they're constantly buying houses and all that stuff. So I believe that they do have the money, but I don't think they have liquid money. And when it comes to the whole they're worse than Diddy situation, they're always around like the youngest youth, the youngest girl that is just now coming out. So it's almost like that, like it's almost as though they are the gatekeeper of like the younger girls who kind of look like the Kylie Jenners and stuff. And also they be doing the yachting and all that stuff too. For people who are rich, they should not be doing yachting, but maybe they are the one recruiting the people to go into the yachting, and they get a cut off of that. So when it comes to like, oh, they're worse than the Diddy situation, if you squint your eyes, you can kind of see it. But this is all alleged, so don't come for me, the Kardashians, because I don't have money like that. I was surprised when they actually won against Black China, but I can tell you for a fact, those girls went into that court dressed all in black, dressed all in black, you know, trying to block off the energy that's coming out. But I think there's definitely some sort of witchcraft or whatever in the makings working with them, you know. There's definitely forces behind all of the things that they're doing, okay? Just like, you know, how I talk about how I believe, in my opinion, that they do put their men's in jars, you know, they do jar spells, or they do attraction spells and clothing spells to make people think that they're a lot more beautiful than they actually are. Meanwhile, their face is full of Botox and all that stuff. But I do believe that it's possible that they could be gatekeepers for the young girls, because they always end up, you know, showing off the young girls. And I also believe that their Instagram, their social media is a whole bunch of bots too. I don't think it's like real, right? Because they have all these businesses that are always failing. They have the KKW, they have the Kylie Jenner, Kylie makeup, and then all these other business. And they started off with the nail polish, and they did, you know, the sketches, and they did the fake, you know, card that they were overcharging people. There's a whole lot going on that I believe is just a front for money laundering. But this is all in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this, because this is kind of interesting. And they might not get them now, but I believe within a year or so, something will come out about the Kardashians and what they've been doing behind closed doors. And like I said, this is all alleged. I'm not there. I'm not in the room when they're doing all this. But I think Kris is like the mafia mom. Okay, and I think that's the reason why they need her to stay alive and continue to be here. That's why she went and get her second face done, in my opinion. I'm running out of time. Bye, talk to you guys.
We need to talk about this person. And no, it's not about the fact that she's almost 70 years old. What I'm about to show you goes much deeper. Pay close attention. This is Kris Jenner right now. What do you notice about her face? No, I'm not talking about the cosmetic procedures. And no, I'm not talking about her being replaced. What if I told you that this is not just a new face, but new identity? This one is a mom, is a legacy, a grandma. This one is a brand. It's a product. Kardashians are all about branding and selling, right? That's why they all have the same face. I'll show you who's the blueprint. Kendall. Kendall's features are used for branding. Her lips, her eyes, her jawline. If you compare it side by side to all of them, it's the same. And Kris looks just like Kendall. She has Kendall's face. She's 70 years old. Even Khloe's face has shrunk. No, it's not just the weight loss and cosmetic procedures. She's trying to look like Kendall. Who else does she look like? She looks like Kim. That is the same face. It's not just a face. They are promoting this look. It's a brand. This look is a brand. It's like Instagram face is a brand. This is Kardashian's face. This is not about before and after. This is deeper than that. What do you think?